good. I taught a teen girls class last night, and we did 11-11, which is like cardio and yoga mixed. I'm like, whoo, that was a
You're
workout.
feeling like you hung out with teenagers last night?
Yeah. At least it kept them quiet. Like when I teach them regular yoga, they are like laughing and and that like they were quiet last night, even during like Shavasana. Afterwards, I was like, "Oh, how'd it go?" And they were like, "Yeah." Like they were all quiet. I was like, "Oh, I wore you out. Good. That's what your coach wanted." The coach gave up. He practices with them, but he gave up like halfway through, and I was like, "Coach, what happened?"
Oh
He's
my
like,
gosh.
"You were trying to kill me." You asked for it. I'm just doing what you asked for. He goes, "Next time I send you a text and say kill everyone, don't do it. Please."
Not
I didn't really mean it. Like, just doing what you're requesting. I don't know what you're saying.
these are my customers.
Yeah, exactly. He goes, because last week he had told me, he said the girls hadn't been behaving in practice, so he wanted to do power yoga. He goes, like, go hard on them. And I'm like, okay. And he said, and P.S. delete these texts. And I was like, okay. So we get there, and he's like, yeah, so Lori was really upset with you guys last week. And so she said, you really need to concentrate today, and you're going to go hard. And so afterwards, and I was just laughing. I think they know that it's him, not me. But afterwards, one of the parents came up to me, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, like what did they do?" And I said, "That wasn't me, that was coach." And so the coach pulled out his text and showed him, and he was like, "You're a jerk." Like,
I wanted to get my nieces, one of them goes to San Diego, she's my son over there, and the other one I go to San Diego too now. She's a small trip, but I wanted to get them to come this morning. It's gonna take some effort.
Yeah.
I mean they'll do it, but it's like, all right, well, yeah, we want to do that. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
When?
Certainly not at 6 a.m. They don't want to.
Yeah.
I have a freshman and a sophomore. Yeah.
Oh, geez, you're almost done.
I know, because I also have a 25-year-old and a 20-year-old. So, yeah, I'm almost there. Whew, halfway done.
What's the next chapter for you?
We want to do a lot of traveling. Like, I want to.
You look so young to have 4 children. Did you start young?
Thank you. Yeah, I started at 19.
My sister started really young.
Yeah.
Too, so.
Yeah, it's actually, I mean, I see pros and cons for each way, and it wasn't my choice to have a baby at 19, but, I mean, to get pregnant.
Yeah.
But I mean, I see friends too that like, do all their traveling and stuff like that and then settle down. For me, I'm like, I'd rather like do all that when I have money and can go to nice places and things.
Yeah.
And so, our plan is that like with the studio, I'll probably, keep it, but just have teachers teaching all the classes, and I'll do like yoga teacher trainings and workshops when I'm in town. And we want to travel a lot, and I'll do like retreats and stuff like that. But my husband's retiring in like a year and a half. He's still going to do something until I can retire. I can retire at 55. So I have like 10 years left. But then,
awesome. You guys are the same.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Realm of retirement.
Yeah.
In a couple of years.
Yeah. So we want to like get an RV and just drive around, like park someplace for a couple weeks, and then do that kind of stuff, and then do more like international travel and stuff. I want to do. I have a cousin that lives in Africa, so I'd love to do a couple retreats in Africa, and then like in Europe. So, yeah.
Have you traveled in the past, like around the U.S.?
Yeah, we love to travel. So we do a lot of cruising, and his family, well, some of my family too, but we don't visit them. His family is still back in New York, and so we go visit them, and then we do a lot of travel. We love to travel. And so we usually go on a couple trips a year. That's like it's funny because my husband's like, like the guys at work all have these like big trucks and they can have motorcycles and stuff. I said, yeah, but they don't go on vacation. Like, what do you want? Do you want experiences or do you want things? You know, and like he'll bring up, you know, a couple specific guys, and I'm like, yeah, okay, well, when's the last time they went anywhere? Like, we even do little, you know, weekend things to like Vegas or to San Diego, or I'm like, they don't go anywhere, and that's fine. Like, some people, that's not their thing. Traveling isn't their thing, but I'm like, that's our thing. Like, that's where our money goes.
Joe and my husband and I are the same exact way. We're always, I mean, we don't have, when I first met him several years ago, he was so, I mean, he was fresh out of college, in debt, you know, all this stuff, like the classic total 25-year-old kid that had a good job and whatever. And he lost everything. He was an architect, and with the crash and all this stuff, so it was a huge, like, turning point in his life. Anyways, long story short, basically, we grew our life together. In that process, it was a lot of revamping of how we were going to live. It was just like, I made it through school without debt. Like, you did it. Like, we just lived very different ways.
Right.
This is how I want to live. Like, you can either join or not.
Yes.
We're not like sharing money down the debt route.
Yeah.
We're not doing that.
Yep.
So, anyways, we talk about all the time. Like, oh, I just want like a car that starts once in a while or like whatever. And I'm like, our cars start fine.
Yeah.
And they don't come with
Right.
payments.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah. Yep.
So.
Yep. That's so how we are. My husband, his dad died when he was 1 in a construction accident, and so they got a big settlement, and so his mom saved all that money for him, and she gave it to him when he turned 18, which was probably not the smartest idea.
Maybe 30.
Yeah.
Should have waited till 30.
Yeah, and they like lived with his mom's parents until he was 12, and his mom got married and stuff. So, and he was an only child, so, you know, she was able to do for him and all of that. And then when he turned 18, he went away to college, and she gave him all this money, so he didn't have to work. He stayed in an apartment. He partied it up. It took him 5 years to graduate from college, and he still had money after that.
Yeah.
And then he got a good job with feds after that, and he was making good money, and he got married, and his wife was a really good hairstylist, hairdresser, and they lived in California, and she made just as much money as he did, and they never had kids. And so he was able to do whatever he wanted. Like, he really didn't have to have a budget. They, you know, made good money. It was just the two of them. Like, he went out one day and bought a $35,000 boat, and that was like no big deal. Then they got divorced, you know, all of that, and then he meets me, and I'm like super frugal, single mom of 4 kids. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, this is gonna be way different from you. And so he's definitely like it's, and he says all the time, it's good for him, you know, to have a budget and stuff. But it still catches him, you know, where he's like,
I tell my husband all the time, I'm like, do I want? Of course I want it.
Right.
Like, but I suppress that in the sense of, do I want experiences versus
Right.
I do the same thing. I'm just like, if I really want it, like, there's certain things, because it's just my husband and I too. We can't have kids, but it was just like, okay, well, it's just you and I, so we can live our life however you want to live it. But this is kind of like what I'm envisioning, you know. And he's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
He gets it. His whole family's from back east, and I don't want to say they come from money. I think they worked hard for their money, but they're definitely well off. And
Right.
It's just like, you don't really know. You didn't work through college.
Yeah.
You didn't, you know, you went and studied abroad in Italy and called dad every 2 weeks for money. Like, I didn't have that.
Right. Yep. Exactly. That's so how we are.
Yeah.
And he has just certain things that, like, he has a motorcycle that he likes to do stuff on, you know, make it better and stuff. Yeah, and he gets so upset when, you know, I'm like, we don't have $3,000 for you to upgrade that motor unless you want to take it from this. And he's like, I work hard for my money, I should be able to do this. I'm like, yeah, but you also have all these other things.
Right.
Like, he has expensive hobbies. He golfs, he plays hockey, and he has motorcycles. I'm like,
those are two really, my husband hunts. And I kick myself in the foot because I'm the one that, I don't hunt, but my family hunts. And that was like my avenue for him to get to know my brother.
Yeah.
He's like, you should really go. And I was just like, now I'm like, all these years later, I'm like,
yeah, exactly. Yep. He got all my kids playing hockey, and I'm like, oh my god, like the most expensive.
I used to live in Alaska, and everybody played hockey there.
Yeah.
And everybody's just like, what? You don't know how to skate? And I'm like, I'm from
Yeah, I do know how to skate, but not good enough to play hockey. I'm the only one in the family that never played hockey, and sometimes the kids are like, "Mom, what the heck? I thought we were gonna have Aubrey signed up, but I guess she didn't make it out. She's got a little baby, so she may not have made it out this morning." All right, so today we're gonna work on hips and lower back. So let's get started in child's pose. Starting to let yourself ground down. Bringing your mind into the present moment. Noticing what you hear. Noticing the sensation of your clothing touching your body. If you want, setting an affirmation or an intention for your practice, for your day, or maybe the rest of the weekend. Saying it to yourself 3 times. Then doing a quick body scan, starting at the top of the head, working your way down, noticing any areas, tightness or pain. Just being mindful during your practice today. Bringing your attention to your breath. Taking nice, long, slow, deep inhales. Equally long exhales. On the inhales, let it bring some openness, some lightness to the body. And on the exhales, let it release tension, stress. On your next exhale, walking your hands over to the left, dropping your right shoulder down, stretching the right side of the body. Inhale through center, and exhale, take the hands to the right. Inhale through center. On your next inhale, lifting your hips, walk your hands forward, drop your chest down, come into puppy dog pose. Let the spine stretch. On your next inhale, walking the hands back in, coming into that tabletop, and going through a few cat-cows. On the inhale, drop the belly, raise the chin. Exhale, arch the back, tuck the chin. Keep moving with your breath. One more round. Coming back to neutral. Inhale, right fingertips rise. And exhale, thread it through, come down. Maybe take your left leg out to the side. You can move your left hand to the top of the mat or wrap it around your back. On the inhale, using your left hand, pushing yourself up, right fingertips rise, and set it down. Inhale, left fingertips rise. Exhale, thread it through. Maybe the leg comes out on this side. Maybe you move your arm. Inhale, right leg comes in, right hand pushes you up, left fingertips rise and set it down. Taking some organic movement, moving in a way that your body is calling for. You can always stretch your neck or your wrists. And coming back to neutral. And coming all the way down onto your belly. Taking your hands under your shoulders, elbows in tight, pushing down through the tops of your feet, squeezing your thighs together. On an inhale, push up to a baby cobra. Elbows tight, shoulders down. Exhale, release down. Taking the hands wider than the mat. Legs can be together or they can be wide as well. Still pushing through the tops of the feet. On an inhale, push up into a wide cobra. Still pull the shoulders down, squeeze them together. Exhale, release down. Begin to Sphinx pose. So all the way from fingertips all the way to the elbow on the mat. Elbows are underneath the shoulders. Legs are together. Squeezing the thighs together. Push through the tops of the feet. And then lift the heart up. Push it forward and lift up. Exhale, release down. And push back into a child's pose. On an inhale, come back up into that tabletop. And right leg goes back, left hand comes forward, finding your balance. Exhale, set it down. Inhale, left leg, right arm. Exhale, set it down. Right leg, left arm again. And this time on the exhales, crunch it in, elbow to knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. One more time. This time when you lengthen, maybe you bend your back knee, reach back for the foot, kick into the hand. Let your back come into a back bend. And release, set it down. Inhale, left leg, right arm. And on the exhale, crunch it in. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, crunch. One more. And then maybe bending the back leg, reaching back for the foot, kicking into the hand. And release, set it down. Coming up onto the knees. Knees are hip distance apart. Hips are directly over the knees. Don't let your hips sink back. You're going to keep pushing your hips forward so they're directly over your knees. Your thighs are directly perpendicular to the ground. Take your hands to your lower back, fingers pointing down. Squeeze your elbows towards each other. Squeeze your shoulders onto your back. And then start to come into a back bend, camel pose. Inhale, slowly coming back up and push back into your child's pose. Inhale up to your tabletop and exhale, push back down dog. Play around, pedal out your feet, bend your knees. Find your down dog. On an inhale, come up onto your toes, bend your knees, push your chest back, and then start to straighten your legs again. Make sure your fingers are spread wide. Doing that again, up onto the toes, bend the knees, pushing back, and then straightening the legs. One more time. Inhale onto the toes, bend the knees, push back, straighten the legs. Inhale, right leg rises. Bend the knee, open the hip. You can take movement in the hip or the knee or the ankle. And then straightening the leg, stepping it through, warrior one. Back foot goes completely on the mat, pushing through your back heel, pushing the left hip forward, sinking down into that front knee. Tuck your tailbone. Open to warrior two, back foot goes parallel to the back of the mat, hips and shoulders open to the side. Keep pushing that front knee towards the third or fourth toe. Flip your front palm, reverse reach back, and then come forward into an extended side angle. Both hands come down on the inside of your right foot. Drop your left knee down, setting up for lizard pose. So you can let the knee fall out to the side. The bottom of the foot can come up. You can stay up on your hands. You can come down onto your forearms. One hand can come to the knee. Whatever feels good for you. Trying to stretch out that right hip. Coming up onto your hands. Walk that foot over to the left side of your mat and drop the knee down, set up for pigeon pose. So left leg is long, hips are still square to the top of the mat, and then come down to your level of comfort. Inhale, coming up onto your hands, tucking your back toes, lift your back knee, send that right leg up into a three-legged dog. And then if you want, you can flip your dog, taking that right leg over, lifting through your hips, strong left hand. Flipping back over and setting it down. Inhale, left leg rises. Bend the knee, open the hip, and taking some movement. And then straighten the legs, step it through, warrior one on this side. Take your time, set it up. Strong back leg, pushing through that back heel. Tuck the tailbone, pull the belly button. On an exhale, open to warrior two. Back foot is parallel. Keep pushing that front knee towards the third or fourth toe. Squeeze the shoulders together. Flip your front palm, reverse reach back. Come forward, extended side angle. Make sure you're not sinking into your shoulder. Opening the chest. Both hands come down on the inside of the left foot. Drop the right knee down. Set up for lizard on this side. You may do the same thing you did on the right side, or maybe you take a different variation. Listening to your body.
Inhale, come up onto your hands. Walk that foot over to the right side of the mat and drop the left knee down. Set up for pigeon pose. Come down to your level of comfort. Focusing on the left hip. Inhale up onto your hands. Tuck your back toes, lift your back knee. Step that left foot back into a three-legged dog, and then option to flip over. Lifting through your hips, strong right arm. And flipping back over, dropping the left foot down, down dog. Inhale, walk or float to the top of the mat. Halfway lift, then fold. Inhale, chair pose. Sink your hips down. Make sure you can see your toes. Weight is in your heels. Hands come to heart center. We're gonna twist to the right side. So take your left upper arm outside your right thigh. Twist to the right, trying to push your hands back towards the center of your body. And exhale, fold forward. Heel toe your feet hip distance apart. Using your peace fingers, grab your big toes. Inhale, take a halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Use your arms, pull yourself down. You can always bend your knees. Releasing the big toes. Heel toe your feet back together. And on an inhale, come back up into your chair pose. Hands come to heart center. Twist to the left this time. Try to keep your knees in alignment with each other. Exhale, release, fold forward. Heel toe the feet hip distance apart again. This time, palms facing up, go underneath your feet so toes come to the wrist crease. You may need to have a generous bend in your knees. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Stepping off of your hands. Heel toe your feet back together. And on an inhale, come all the way up to standing. You're gonna ground down through your right foot. Pull up on your right kneecap, pull your belly button in. Take your left ankle, cross it over your right thigh. Easy for me to say. And then start to sink down, coming into a figure four. Keep your left foot flexed. Keep pushing your left knee away from the body. And stand up, release, shake it up. Ground down through that left leg, pull up on the kneecap, pull the belly button in. Right ankle crosses over, keep the right foot flexed, start to sink down. And release, shake it out. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees, come down to a seated position. Take your right leg long, cross your left leg over. Left hand comes behind you. Sit up tall, right elbow outside that left knee. Look over your left shoulder. Twists are so good for your lower back. Inhale through center, switching it out. Left leg long, right foot on the outside. Right hand behind you, left elbow outside the right knee. Sit up tall, look over the right shoulder. Come back through center. Turn towards the long edge of your mat. Send your right leg out long. Your left foot comes in towards your thigh. Your right peace fingers are gonna go underneath your Achilles tendon there. And so your forearm is parallel to your shin. And then your left arm is gonna come up and over. Try to keep your chest open. So it's okay if you can't reach your toes. Feel that stretch in the left side of your upper body. Inhale, come back up, switching it out. Left leg goes long. Right foot comes in towards the thigh. Left peace fingers go underneath the ankle. And then right arm comes up and over. Inhale, coming back up. Both legs go long. We're not coming into splits, so don't strain yourself. Just take them to where you can feel a bit of a stretch in the inner groin. You want to keep your knees and your toes pointing straight up, and then just walk yourself forward. So don't let your toes and your legs fall in. Keep pointing them straight up towards the sky. And then just walk forward wherever you land. Let your back round, let your head be heavy. Walking the hands back, bringing the soles of the feet in together. Knees fall out wide. Your choice how close you bring your heels to your groin. The closer you get, the bigger the stretch. So your option where you place your heels. Sit up nice and tall, and then just fold forward. Inhale, coming back up, turning back towards the top of your mat, and coming down onto your back. You can bring your knees into your chest, roll around, massage your spine. Setting up for a bridge pose. So feet come hip distance, heels are close to your butt. On an inhale, lifting your hips, your lower back, your middle back. Option to roll your shoulders underneath, interlace your fingers, or you can grab the edges of your mat and pull it apart. or even bend your elbows, push through your upper arms to lift your chest a little higher. Try to keep your knees and your feet pointing straight ahead. Exhale, release down. Take your feet wide, let your knees fall in on each other. Setting up for bridge pose again. On the inhale, lifting up. Maybe you take a different arm variation or maybe not. Exhale, release down. Feet wide, knees fall in. One more time, bridge or wheel. If you want, you can come into full wheel. On the inhale, lift up. Exhale, release down. Soles of the feet come together. Let the knees fall out wide. Bring your hands onto your torso, somewhere where that brings you comfort. Inhale, bring the knees back together. Bring them into the chest. Squeeze them in. And coming into a happy baby. Grabbing the outside edges of the feet. Bringing the knees in towards the armpits. Pushing your tailbone down. Maybe just noticing if the hips feel a little more open. Maybe the hamstrings feel a little more stretched. Bringing the knees back together. Take the right leg over the left. Open your arms out to a T and drop the knees over to the left. Push through your right shoulder. Feeling that twist. Releasing the lower back. Inhale through center. Taking the left leg on top. And then dropping the knees over to the left. Pushing through the right shoulder. Inhale through center. And taking any last movements that your body is asking for. And then when you're ready, finding a comfortable resting position, whatever that looks like for you today. Maybe it's legs long, arms long. Maybe it's laying on your side. Maybe it's having your knees bent. Whatever position works for you to release down. Come back to that feeling of being grounded. If you set an intention or an affirmation, saying it again 3 times. Taking one more big deep breath in. On the exhale, release any tension, any stress, anything not serving you. Closing down the eyes. Shavasana. Slowly starting to deepen your breath. Bringing your awareness back. Taking small movements in your fingers and your toes. Your ankles and your wrists. Rolling your head side to side. And taking your arms overhead for one last big full body stretch. Rolling over onto one side. Taking one last moment. Appreciation for the body, the breath, the earth supporting you. With your eyes still closed, making your way to a seated position, bringing your hands to heart center. I thank you for coming to practice today, taking time to honor your body and your mind. And thank you for trusting me to guide you. I hope the rest of your day is exciting, and I hope you feel loved. Thumbs to forehead center. Namaste. Thank you. I love that. I love that.
Oh, you're so sweet. Yeah, I go home and make my coffee now and do my